Good afternoon, peeps. It is June 7th, Tuesday, 2022. Welcome to My Left Ear. I am Carrie Freeman, the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear. And this, if you've never been here before, this is a left-leaning political and psychic commentary YouTube site. My show. And we add other things. We add some very interesting stories and good evidence and kindness on the street and some quotes, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. I am a change agent when I'm not doing this work, and an author. And when I say I'm a change agent, I do private sessions that are, sometimes they're all psychic coaching, depends on what the person requires or asks for, or a combination of psychic coaching and hypnotherapy, therapeutic hypnosis. So that's what I do, and if you're interested, you want to know more, I have made a video on it. I can't remember the number of it, but I'll put it in my community section. And I have a new Patreon site, and I will put that in my community section also, because I'm doing runes tutorial, and some people are interested in that. They're really liking it, by the way. My new Patreon is patreon.com/Carrie Freeman. So there you go. And this is for entertainment purposes only. And now we're going to get right to it. And today I'm starting to do 2 shows a week, and then I'm adding the Patreon. And the Patreon will be, I'll always announce it, but I don't have a real schedule for it. I'm gonna do about 3 or 4 a month, okay? So you can check into that. But today, because it's my second show of the week, I want to focus in on June 9th, which is Thursday. The January 6th committee is holding a prime time first, presentation. I want to say episode, but that's like entertainment, although this may be somewhat entertaining. So that's starting, and I thought it deserved some attention. It will go down in the history books, okay? So just know, as you watch it and you're present, you are a part of history, because this is going to go into the history books, if history books are allowed in the future. Joke. Bad joke. Okay. So Jamie Raskin, who's on the committee and who's a stellar human being and representative, and a constitutional expert, by the way, scholar, he said there is damning new evidence. This was more than incitement to overturn the government. And then he said, you don't almost knock over the US government by accident. That's sort of a clever remark. And of course, what he meant is it required a lot of planning and coordination. Some of the stuff we don't even know about yet. So I want to share with you, part of this I just think is common sense, but My Left Ear is expecting GOP and MAGAS to try to do an upstage of the committee's presentation. So on June 9th, which is Thursday, 2 days away, I just want to say I think they're going to come up with some attention-grabbing headlines by some things that they're doing. I expect those crazy, insane caravans to be running through neighborhoods of every state. I got caught in one of those caravans during the election. It was very scary. I had no stickers on my car, thank God, because at one point I got right in the middle of one of these caravans, and I had MAGAs on both sides of me and in the front and the back, and I was by myself, and they were hollering and screaming and honking their horns, and there were flags, and I thought, no stickers for me, ever. And listen, I pray not, but I want to say I even can imagine some shootings erupting, because we've had so many. It's just turned into like a fever. So just be prepared on June 9th, and don't be keep your attention on the committee and the work they're doing, because it's going to be pretty big. Also, what I think is interesting, it's something I was hoping for with the committee, is that that they would bring in a great storyteller. Now, someone had said to me, what about Ken Burns? And I thought, oh my God, what a great, choice. But what they did do, and probably is better, is the committee has brought in a veteran news producer, someone who was a producer, editor on Nightline and for ABC. So he knows about news packages, video packages, footage, and he is involved, which I'm very excited, because that means the storytelling, the true storytelling, will be laid out really well, okay? This was a smart move. Of course, Fox News is criticizing it, but they gotta do that, that's what they do. This, I don't know, I believe it's a man, and I don't know his name, but if he's a veteran, he understands compelling storytelling. So I'm really happy about that. Now, no surprise to you, but Fox News will not be airing the committee meeting. Like, duh. Also, during this committee meeting, and I don't know if it's going to happen Thursday night, but all these text messages that Laura Ingraham and what's his name? The names are going out my brain right now. The top talkers at Fox sent 1 million texts to, I'm exaggerating, 1 million texts to Mark Meadows, make it stop, blah, 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 tons and tons. Well, they don't want to hear their names or their texts read on air, and they will be, and names that we don't even know yet. There's going to be surprises. This is personal because I do, I've been doing hypnotherapy and hypnosis for 20 years. My left ear hopes that this committee utilizes repetition over these, I think there's 8 telecasts, maybe 9, when they want to make certain points, because repetition is key in getting one's point across, and it can be used for the negative, for brainwashing, like we have seen with the GOP and Trump, the repetition. It's a hoax, it's a lie. And, but it can be used for good. And I certainly use it for good in my work. So repetition is key, and I am hoping they know that and they get that repetition in over and over. I did pull runes for us, and the runes, the question is, and this is a long answer because I found it so interesting. I asked, what is the energy on the first night of the telecast, Thursday? All right, so I got the first rune. I'm holding them up now because someone asked me to, and I won't do it all the time when I don't have time, but that is the rune of initiation, okay? And initiation these are very interesting, by the way. It's about something that is hidden, a secret matter. I mean, just that is fascinating. Ralph Blum says that which is beyond our frail powers, and that there are powerful forces of change at hand. No bleep, right? There may be surprises, gains, rewards that are unexpected. Love hearing that. This rune is concerned with the deepest strata of our beingness, and it is the bedrock on which our destiny is found. So this is how we're introducing this particular reading about the telecast. All right, and then the second rune, which was reversed, it is the rune of separation. So this is the reversed, this is the upside, all right? So in this reversed, it tells us this is not the time to be bound by old conditioning, old authority. That makes sense too, doesn't it? Because this is embarking on a whole, this has never been done before, all right? They just have to go for it. That's the message. You may be called upon to undertake a radical departure, and adaptability is very important. It's something to cultivate here. Adaptability, where you're just flowing, because there's going to be surprises. Even people who are called to testify may surprise and do unexpected things. So the methods to cultivate, aside from adaptability, this rune says, it's interesting, we do without doing, and everything gets done. Well, they're doing a lot, but what they're really doing is just, here's the story, right? Here's the story. They're not telling people what to think or how to react. They're just, here's the story. So then the final rune, which I really like, was the warrior upright, okay? I wrote a note that says, do the job at hand, stay out of your own way, and let the will of heaven flow through you. Now, the book says, let the will of heaven flow through you, but do the job at hand and stay out of your own way was my message. So there's a funding your will, their will, through action. And of course, they're taking action now in a whole new way, in a way we've never seen before. But at the same time, remaining unattached. Cool. First of all, this is not a criminal thing they're doing. It will probably benefit the DOJ tremendously. It'll probably create like a great outline for the DOJ. So what we're seeing is for history, and it's probably just to hand it off to the DOJ. Tell you what, I think the DOJ, Merrick Garland, will be hard pressed not to go full throttle after this committee and the stuff that's going to come out. So action is the energy of this room, but also discrimination. It's very sword-like, and it's about cut through the dead, the old, the extraneous. And of course, isn't that what this committee's trying to do? It's trying to cut through. This is a rune of courage and dedication. It feels so appropriate to me. Perseverance and patience are called for. This is just a step in a process. And though I didn't put it in my notes, I just want to reiterate, this is going to be a great map for Merrick Garland and his DOJ. All right, here we go. I threw another rune because I just thought you might like to hear what the result is, and I did. And I asked the runes, is Marjorie Taylor Greene connected to the walking bomber? You know, that picture that we see, walking with it. And so it's interesting what I got. I got the warrior, which I just shared with you, but I got it in reversed. Oh, I'm not holding it properly, in reverse position, like that, okay? So that's pretty interesting. Now, it tells her there is danger in ill-timed actions. Ill-timed actions will help life force leak out or spill out. It says an association may be short-lived. I added, like losing the election. Then it goes on. Matters of trust and confidence are at issue. Confidence, if she was the bomber. Then it asks, are you being authentic in the world? I can answer for Marjorie. The answer would be no. Then I got initiation. And once again, this is initiation. Ha! Something is hidden. The rune is concerned with the deepest stratum of her being, in which her destiny will be what? her destiny will be revealed. That's the word that comes to mind. And for some, because this is called Perth, that rune is called Perth, it means experiencing a death. Now, I don't want to be controversial here. I know feeling it's a literal death. It's a metaphorical death. A death of her career in politics, a death of her dream to take over. So she needs to let go of everything now. And then the last one was fascinating. The last rune, this is the rune of partnership, okay? And in many cases, depending on the questions in the rune, this is fabulous. But what really it's telling me, and I know without question, there's no reverse, by the way, it's telling me she had a partner or partnerships. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? But it hasn't been brought up. And so this rune is literal. She did not act alone, and other people know. Okay? Let's see. You know, I had said that in looking at the meta of what we've been going through the last 2 or 3 years, I feel that it was a combo of Trump getting elected and causing havoc, COVID happening and it running rampant and killing people while it wasn't being handled by the Trump administration, and isolation for a long period of time. People got cabin fever, they turned to the internet, and they found something, they're angry, and they could find something they could belong to. They could belong. And you know, when I see these groups, these MAGA groups who are so colorful and weird looking and like on the fringes of society, that's what they look like. I look at them just as people and I thought, you were so lonely and you needed to belong to something. And this is what it's doing for some people. They belong to something now. So I'm just sharing that with you. And another thing that my left ear fed me was, you know, they say white supremacy. But I got to tell you something. White supremacy is just another term for domestic war. It really is. Domestic war. That's what these people are kind of prepping for. And we have to take it seriously. I want to share some wisdom. I just thought this was fascinating. But I want to say something about the runes. When I do the runes for you, I won't always be picking them up and showing them to you. I had time today, so I did it, and I know people like it, and someone had just asked me. But what I do want you to know, and yes, this is a little commercial, on Patreon, I am doing rune tutorial for every single rune. I'm discussing the rune, what it means. I'm discussing throwing the runes, how to do it. And I do hold the stones up and I give handouts. Just want you to know that. So you might want to check out the Patreon if you find this interesting. A lot of people are really liking it. All right, Admiral Stavridis, who I am a huge fan. And if you watch MSNBC, you see him a lot. Kind of an understated guy. But he wrote a new book, and I don't know the name of the book. I apologize. But it has 9 stories in it. He put 9 stories of stories of decisions made by military elite, like admirals or whatever, and they're gripping stories. Each story, whatever the units were or the battleships, they were in a life and death situation. And so Admiral spoke about it, and the interviewer, who was great, said, how does that process happen when you have to make this decision for so many people with so many threats